Fraser Institute did a big study on what the new Liberal plans for greening your house and reducing emissions from your house. We're not talking about you after your chili fest. Emissions from your house, green emissions. And the Fraser Institute says in British Columbia, those rules will add an extra $85,000 to the price of a new home. $85,000. This, keep in mind the average price in Vancouver is already over $1 million, and now it's going to be another $85,000. In Alberta, it's going to add $35,000 to the price of a home. Premier Smith was quick to jump on that yesterday and sent out a tweet saying, "Look, this is, another kick in the groin to Alberta, and we're not going to put up with it," and all that kind of stuff. But it's, a carbon tax, and now green energy houses. They're pricing Canadians out of livability is what they're doing. Just think of trying to save $85,000 as a down payment. It takes years, and now they're adding years onto people being able to save up this extra $85,000. It's crazy.
So that $85,000 is one big expense. The other big expense is the cost of the paperwork that goes into getting a permit to even begin to build a house, and then as you're building it, to complete it. It has been calculated that $1 million house that you're speaking of in Vancouver, $300,000 of that is in everything except wood and gyprock and concrete, and it's all the what they used to call the soft costs when they were
the gatekeepers now.
The gatekeepers. Yeah, well, whether you're a liberal or a conservative, you want a house to live in, and so you should be listening to somebody who's got a sense of why things cost what they cost. To then add this other green charge on the top, you end up with a $600,000 house for which you're going to pay $1 million, and then you got to buy the lot, and then of course who knows what that can cost you in Vancouver or Calgary or Toronto. It invites the question, Dave, and I'm going to ask you: do you think that it's actually a plan, an intention to make things more expensive and to impoverish people, or is this just a bureaucracy that is out of control, led by people who don't understand?
I think you've got a bureaucracy led by Stephen Guilbeault, who is a radical activist, and he's happy to do all these things because that achieves his green utopia. And I don't think Trudeau's smart enough to realize the damage he's doing.
Or alternatively, he is all for it.
Exactly, he's all for it.
I mean, Corey here has written and spoken several times about the plan to drive us off the roads. Drive us off the roads, make our houses unaffordable. What exactly is the vision of society that this conjures up?
Well, my thoughts are, for some it's just, bureaucrats being bureaucrats. They support bloat, they support delays. It's just their nature. But some, I think there is an ugly ideology underneath. I think Guilbeault is one of those. They see humanity as a negative thing. They see it as a bad thing that needs to be sidelined, reduced, and it's also backdoor communism. If we can keep, the solution always when it becomes untenable, well, the state has to step in then. The state will have to build the housing. The state will build those brilliant Soviet-style long row apartments that I got to see back at the end of the 80s when I toured over there. Yeah, you don't freeze to death. You didn't starve to death over there, but boy, you sure weren't living. But they realize that people won't vote directly for that sort of policy, but you can really incrementally put people into that corner, and you make it more and more unaffordable. The state keeps assuming that role. And, you bring in more things. Wealth taxes, that was the latest too. We're going to hit the rich and save the poor, but it never works.